before I'm able to get back to area Ekine, and we'll talk together and look at this matter from a legal and a political perspective. I don't know, the phone lines, the weather probably are trying to stop our conversation, but we'll try. All right. Okay, I think we have been able to reach. We've been able to connect. So thank you very much. All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you, Canada.
Oh, finally. It was quite a war getting to you.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So welcome on the show. I was just talking about how there are reports that are at least 3 or 4 nominees confirmed by the Senate this week to be resident electoral commissioners for INEC are said to be APC loyalists. And I'm asking the question, can partisan personalities take such sensitive positions, like the position of being a resident electoral commissioner in an independent body as INEC? First of all, can you help us, as written in our laws, what is the role of a REC, of a resident electoral commissioner?
Yes, resident electoral commissioners established under the Constitution are to represent the commission at the state level.
Okay.
And then representing the commission at the state level would mean carrying out the constitutional functions and powers of the Independent National Electoral Commission and the for this. Some of the functions about coordinating and especially to be the functions of the Indian nation and the powers as stand the Constitution. These will include the coordination, planning, and management of the election, of activity parties. I am also provide verification of voters to vote in the elections, and the general powers and functions of the Independent National Electoral Commission. But while all of these reside in the national or as the headquarters of the commission, and then in the channel of the commission and the national commissioners, the office of the resident electoral commissioner established in the Constitution and so provided in the schedule, I think it's the third schedule to the Constitution, represent the commission at the respective state levels and the federal capital.
Okay. Now take a listen. Now, one of the recs that were confirmed, his name is Ekine of Akwa Ibom State. He served as a commissioner. As a chief of staff. He served as a chief of staff at the Akwa Ibom State House when Mr. Pablo was governor between 2007 and 2014. He was also nominated by Pablo to serve as Secretary of State Government under Ubom Emmanuel. In August 2018, he was seen during a rally, Tokomakbio in Uyo, and he was said to be a major supporter of Akwa area. He's also an open supporter of Mr. Tinubu. There is also another person, the REC from Edo State, who is also said to be a strong supporter of the president, Ahmed Tinubu, and he has said to be confirmed by the Senate as REC. There is also the REC from Lagos State, Bumi Mosheyin Demi, who is also somehow related to the president politically. In terms of politics, he has worked with in Lagos State when Tinubu.
Look at the position of the law, rather. Strictly on the political commissioner.
Okay.
For any state. Let me be very clear. Appointment. The reason is merely being a commissioner or being a chief of staff or even a secretary to the government of the state does not mean that you are a member of a political group of that president. That's all member. Many may seem to be, and what man saying, when Olusegun Obasanjo, chief boss of the school, they were not in some side of this country, but he shocked him.
Henry, thanks you when we are back. Continue.
All right.
And yes, you're listening to 92.3 Nigeria Info. Hard Facts with Kala Dakoru Batabo. And we have Ekine Ekine, who's a lawyer and the National Legal Advisor for the Committee of Defense for Human Rights, over the phone. And our topic is the report that we have seen making the rounds that the Senate has confirmed some personalities who are said to be loyalists to some members of the APC. And my guest was explaining just before the commercial break that it's not illegal if somebody has occupied one position in office or is a friend or an ally of a politician. Does not mean that the person cannot occupy certain positions as long as the person is an expert in that field. Welcome back, Ekine Ekine. Thank you very much for your time.
Yes, thank you, Kalada, for having me again.
All right. So you were explaining about legality and morality as it concerns this matter. Let's get to hear your thoughts, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's important that we lay the legal foundation that we go. So I have established that, and that argument for me is drawn from the provision of the Constitution. And the provision of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that would disqualify any person is not with respect to the person's relationship with a president or a governor. That has to be taken clearly. Now, strictly in the Constitution, the Independent National Electoral Commission is established under Section 153, subsection 1, paragraph F of the Constitution. That's the foundation. And as one of the federal executive bodies that ought to be independent, it is on the premise of this independence that set the district to form the INEC, the members of INEC. And strictly by the Constitution, and fundamentally so, is about being a member of a political party. So that's why I was trying to lay the foundation as distinct from someone, when you read the CV or the relationship between those gentlemen and the president, is about serving in the as chief of staff in Akwa Ibom, or as secretary to government of the state in Akwa Ibom, or as probably a political appointee of Mr. President in Lagos. Those are not disqualifications. What will amount to disqualification by virtue of Section 156, subsection 1A, clearly is about the person not being a member of a political party. That's what the Constitution requires. That any person to be a member of INEC, whether as the chairman or a national commissioner or a resident electoral commissioner, that such person shall not be a member of a political party. If any of these individuals is established as a matter of fact, evidence, and supported clearly that such person is a member of a political party, that person is disqualified and is not competent to be a member of INEC, whether as a national commissioner or as a resident electoral commissioner, as is sought to be unconstituted right now. That's the argument. And where is this drawn from? Canada. It's important to say that since the discussion is on resident electoral commissioners, that the third schedule of the Constitution, Part 1, which deals with INEC, that is paragraph F, deals particularly with respect to resident electoral commissioners. And take paragraph 14, sub 3, says that such person to be appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate to be a resident electoral commissioner shall be a person of unquestionable integrity. That's one. But one that appears to be important here is that the person shall not be a member of a political party. And of age, it should be a minimum of 35 and above. And let's now look critically at the issue of non-membership of a political party. Canada, that is why the Constitution and Electoral Act requires that every political party, having been registered by INEC, pursuant to the provisions of the Constitution, shall maintain a register of its members. That is the first point to draw conclusion as to who is a member of a political party. So if you even allege that a particular nominee is a member of a political party, it's a simple thing to establish. Draw the attention of the Senate to the membership list of that political party and say, this individual is a member of this political party. He or she has his name as a member of that political party. he or she bears the ID card. But whether you have ID card or not, because you may have misplaced it or you may not have been given, but that you're a registered member of a political party. Otherwise, how else would you establish? And then the other thing is partisanship. I take time to look at the concept, the word partisan. Because beyond being someone's friend, I might be a friend to the governor of Rivers State today, and I may not be a member of any of the political parties. I may not even be partisan, which is what I want to explain now, in terms of being active in any of the programs and activities of any of the political parties. But I'm his friend. And if he feels that I'm competent to represent the state in any capacity, he can nominate me. Now, to be partisan will mean to be a strong supporter member of a political party who is prejudiced in favor of the cause of that political party. And it's a fact issue that partisanship will mean a demonstrable commitment, is committed to a political party. And that person is not repentant at all. It does not show any compromise with political opponents. And that's why it's dangerous for such person to serve in INEC.
Okay.
And that's why the constitution is also clear that this issue of partisanship, of being a member of a political party, should be an issue of fact. So there has to be fact supported with evidence that a certain person is a member of a political party, and his activities and actions confirm that membership, that he's committed to that political party, is a person who strongly supports that political party's position and interest, and of course is reluctant to compromise with any other political party.
So I mean, I've read your narrative and how you've argued,
yes.
But looking at the Nigerian situation, looking at the fact that we've been, crying about how INEC as an institution has been operating, and a lot of people, a lot of Nigerians would argue that the 2023 elections would have been more acceptable if INEC had done way better. Should we then, I mean, you can argue that we may not be able to prove that they are card-carrying members. Maybe they are, we don't know yet, but we may not be able to prove it. But they have some kind of friendship with those in government. Could this not be linked to the structure the former governor of Rivers State has been talking about all week? We have our people on ground, and our people who are our friends, will help us do, what we want them to do. I mean, I can give you a very easy reference, and that will be the valedictory speech of Bukachua during the valedictory session of the Ninth Assembly, where he said his wife, did some favors for his friends. So these are the issues.
Yes, very, very important here. But you see, when you go to, because the foundation of this discourse was the confirmation screening by the Senate.
Yeah.
When the Senate is to consider the confirmation of any nominee, the Senate will consider that confirmation or otherwise on the basis of the provision of the Constitution.
Okay.
If any individual has any reservation, that individual has a right as a citizen of this country to petition the Senate and then attach to that petition the fact of the partisanship of this nominee or any nominee, and then the fact of the membership of a political party of that nominee, or any ground of disqualification. Otherwise, we will not be arguing the issue of disqualification of that nominee.
Okay.
However, being a Nigerian and here, and also one citizen who is disturbed about the squid, if you like, lopsided, if you like, the compromised nature of INEC, and that is a fact, and some of which are arising from this kind of concept that the former governor of Rivers State may have talked about, structure. One cannot rule out the fact of possible compromise by what would have been an objective relationship between any citizen and probably Mr. President, or any citizen and the government. That's where we begin to be afraid of the relationship between these individuals. And let me still say that what Mr. Jason Wilkie may have referred to as structure may not also absolutely mean his friends who are not political party members. They may not be influential in terms of determining favor and interest of the political parties. Those structures could still be the many members of his political party. Could also be members of other political parties that are willing to pursue the cause of his political party. Those are the structures. I am not sure that Nyesom Wike will be counting me as one of the structures if I were even his friend, because I may not be a political party member.
Okay.
But having said that, Canada, I understand and admit the concern of Nigerians. But I'm afraid whether those concerns alone will disqualify any nominee. That's the point I'm making. Before the Senate for confirmation.
Okay.
If the person is nominated by Mr. President and the person is qualified by age, if it is a resident electoral commissioner, he is 35 and above, he's not proven to be a member of any political party, he's not proven to have any questionable character, I'm afraid that the Senate may go through his confirmation. But if we present any fact to the Senate and they continue and they go ahead, then it's actionable to restrain the Senate from confirming that individual on those grounds.
But is it not still the duty of the Senate to actually look at whether the person, or persons have met the criteria? I'm talking about, what you have mentioned, which is not below the age of 35, 35 and above, not a member of a political party, and then you mentioned one other. Is it not the work of the Senate to confirm, to investigate? Because I am asking, Loretta Onoche comes to mind. She was going to be confirmed, but for the shout that Nigerians shouted at the time, even she had said that she is not a card-carrying member of APC. She had argued that she was only appointed by the Buhari administration, and then, there were the arguments, but she was not confirmed. So, if not for Nigerians who shouted at the time, maybe she would have been confirmed, and a lot of people would have said, is this the way to put INEC under the influence of the executive arm of government, or even now under the legislative arm of government?
Yes, Kalada, the confirmation of appointees before the Senate, any of those appointments that the Constitution requires Senate confirmation, are actually inquiries, really, are actually investigative process, really. So the Senate is required and expected, is invited to look at the qualification or otherwise of that nominee, including the constitutional requirement, basically the constitutional requirement, qualification for that office, which will include the age here. So I would assume and believe that any of these nominees would have had his resume for the Senate, and that would have shown what age the person is, and probably with evidence attached to that. Then the integrity and questionable character of the person, it's only what can be alleged by another person, because the person would have said, I'm of clean character, I'm of high integrity. It is when any other person alleges that that person is of questionable character, then, because even in the Evidence Act, character evidence is actually generally not what the courts pay attention to. It is only when the good character of the person is advanced by that person and becomes an issue. So if a nominee before the Senate says he's of good character, then he has put his character in issue to be examined. So if any person has any evidence of his bad character, then that person can present it before the Senate and it will be admissible for consideration as to whether the person is qualified or not. But in the absence of that, there is a presumption that the person is of good character, and you cannot blame it on the Senate. In the absence of any petition against the membership of a person, and that person did not assert to his membership, of course he wouldn't, to say I'm a member of a political party when you are confronting the Senate for confirmation. So it is a third party who is aware of the factual membership of this individual of any of the political parties that will confront the Senate with that evidence.
All right.
And then the Senate definitely will disqualify that person on that ground.
Okay. So now that the PDP in Akwa Ibom State have gone to court, would they be able to disqualify him? Given the requirements. All right.
Yes, absolutely. That's an interesting thing. That's the point I'm making.
Okay.
Like the PDP now, if they have facts of the membership of that gentleman Umore as a member of the All Progressives Congress, and of course they would know because it's served in their government at some point. And then again, that he is probably of questionable character and integrity. They have those facts, and whether it's not up to 35 years, if they have those facts and if they approach the court, remember, even as they approach the court and lay this allegation, they will support that. So the court will examine these facts and hold one word or the other, whether it's qualified or not.
One more question so I can open the phone lines. And this has to do with Umoren was said to have been seen in 2018, 2019 campaigning for the APC. Is that not affecting his integrity as a REC for INEC?
It absolutely will. Those are the points I'm raising. So again, these are facts. You see the videos and pictures and billboards and handbills that show this active. Okay, let me say what I said again about being partisan. Strong supporter of a political party, a member of a political party, who is prejudiced in favor of the cause of that political party. Yeah. Now, being involved in a campaign, a political campaign of a political party, it is only political parties that carry out election campaigns in Nigeria.
Okay.
Civil society organizations don't.
Okay.
Pressure groups don't. Even if they do, they collapse into the political parties because political campaigns are only carried out by political parties. So if he did, and it's evident, that is a strong support. There is no other support that can be stronger than that for a political party. There is no other position of interest that it could be stronger than that for a political party. Such persons are questionable to be members of INEC. All right.
Let's pause you there now. Phone lines are open. The call numbers are 0817-923-0002 and 0817-923-0003. WhatsApp number for WhatsApp messages 0809-03064. We're going to start with Facebook. We're live on Facebook, Nigeria Info PH. Keep setting positions like a REC for INEC. Remember, he will be in charge of electoral matters in that state. So should we have them? Even if they will not be REC in their state of origin, they will still be REC nonetheless, and they may be able to influence how an election goes. All right, Happy Michael. He said the example Barrister Ekine cited of the non-partisan people in Obasanjo's administration is a different scenario. We are talking of the independence of an electoral system here and in the eyes of Mrs. Loretta Onoche. Charlie Man Obianozie says we are gradually heading to a place of no return. One position has been there, is not but and all keep the putting power to appoint INEC board members should be removed to avoid using those who are more partisan at all cost. All right. Fidelis John Nwogo says Nigeria will witness what's to as regards to elections because we will explain time without evidence. Everyone who voted will regret, especially now he has connected with the former governor of Rivers State. Only God can help Nigeria. Fidelis Nwogo from Auda. Okay, thank you very much. Keep those calls coming in. 081793002 and 08179230003. This one said, my name is David from Port Harcourt. You say the method or ways to recruit our leaders in the country remains questionable even with different administrations for over a decade ago. The politicians come with different colors but on the same old car. Who can explain this allegation about the Senate's confirmation to members of one political party as a REC, which ordinary should political this is a guidance and debate now when we go? This one says, one of the major problems we have in Nigeria, which includes our electoral system, judiciary and other institutions, is that the managers of these institutions are nominees and appointees of top politicians. The new residential electoral officers are nominated by top politicians, including that of Rivers State. This is why the politicians who nominated them can influence them to do the dirty work in their favor at the expense of the general public. These are the struck about from Anonymous. While I'm waiting for the phone lines to get Barrister, so if Nigerians are faulting, maybe from a moral perspective, they're faulting the procedure of people being appointed who are friends with politicians in government. What is the best way to appoint people into sensitive offices like residential electoral commissioners?
I'm afraid that I would say that I haven't found clearly any fault in provisions of the Constitution with respect. His nomination is absolute. The person wouldn't have just become a electoral commissioner. He will be subject checked commission by the Senate, and the Senate has a representation of members of different political parties, has a representation of members of all states across the country, at least 3 of them from each state. It is so broad and liberal enough to then review. That's where the problem comes. Do they really, dispassionately, without any skewed interest,
All right.
are we going to be electing members of, resident electoral commissioners for all the 36 states, or should any other body that who constitutes
what if we did, like, I know you were going to say the president should be dispassionate, but I feel like that's almost impossible. But
it's almost impossible here.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, what if we do it like civil service, where people grow in ranks and get to the level of commissioners, just like people grow in ranks and get to the level of permanent secretaries?
Now, even if you want to say, okay, the resident electoral commissioners should be employed time in the commission, and then they grow in rank, and then let's say we brought them from the directorate level in the commission in it, there still will be some points out of many directors that may be more.
It's going to point the way level like that. It's going to be better. I know that people are civil.
Yeah, it's going to be. What if you get who are all qualified? How do you get the 37?
At least we will know that they're part of it. Yeah, I'm sorry. Got another commercial break, but thank you for your time.